Any other public comments to this particular topic? Moving on. Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Pam.
All right, we'll now move on to item 2, ECCL update, various ongoing project activity status report.
Yes, President Dice and members of the board, this is a regular item, standing item on our agenda at each board meeting, and here to give you the update, John Baker from Swinnerton, who Swinnerton is our CM for the project, and I also want to say that I've had a chance to work with John over the past 4 or 5 weeks, and have been very impressed with how on top of things John is with the support of his company, and I think they're doing a great job. So there's a lot happening, of course, and so John's going to give you a quick update on what has transpired since our last board meeting 2 weeks ago.
Thank you, John. If I could only operate a laptop as well as John says I can do other things here. All right, well, thank you. Again, as John mentioned, I'll be giving regular updates at each board meeting of the progress. This report is 2 parts. The first is the report on the completion of the solar remediation work, and the second is the efforts currently underway to finalize the Turner leaseback agreement with representatives of the board and also City of Emeryville. First, this graphic here is a schedule update on the what's called the raw work, the soil remediation work, and also completion of demolition. Last week we finished our final sampling of soil. That means that the sampling of the soil to be removed or reused on site in 2 areas: the field area AOC2 and the parking lot area AOC3. We found actually soil that can be reused, and also soil that needs to be off-hauled to a Class 2 landfill. That's the low hazmat content. And we did find some that needs to go to a Class 1 landfill, which is the higher hazmat content. We're in the process this week of doing the final off-haul to those landfills, and also doing some placement of soil that can be reused on site. The final significant exercise, which is taking place this week and next, is the backfilling of soil removed at the methane area, AOC6. What this is putting soil back where we took soil out, so that we can then have the site rough graded available for construction to commence. One of the things we're working on, the raw scope of work is approved by the State Department of Toxic Substance Control. That scope envisioned importing fill from other locations where we had off-haul fill, so we could balance what was taken out with putting soil back. We've been looking at a cost savings measure which involves excavating foundations for the construction project and using the soil which is excavated from those foundation excavations to backfill the methane area. That we would realize cost savings there, but it's not in the approved raw scope of work with the DTSC, so we're uncertain on what schedule impact that may have. So we're working with a very good rep from DTSC to determine if we can do that or not. It's probably a fairly low chance we would do that just because of the schedule impacts. If we can determine there is no schedule impact, we may end up doing that. We will know that by the end of this week. So that would be which would save a moderate amount of dollars. Starting next week, Ninyu and Moore, who is the raw monitoring consultant, is going to start completion of the final DTSC report. This is the report which is issued to DTSC, which documents in great detail the testing results, documents and profiles soil which is off-hauled, replaced on site, and imported to site. That report will be done by the end of the first week in July, or end of the week of July 7th, and issued to DTSC for review. We anticipate a 2-week review period. What shows here, that 2-week review period includes back and forth of comments, but if all goes well, we anticipate that being approved towards the end of August. Concurrent to this, actually starting next week, we're going to be completing demolition activities. For those of you who recall the schedule, demolition of the old high school was complete except for foundation and slab work, because we had to do the above ground demolition, then do the soil remediation. Then once that's complete, go back and take the remaining footings, slabs, and other elements of the high school out. That work starts next week. We've been doing some testing of that existing slab this week and last. So that work starts next week, and that will also be done towards the end of July. So by the end of July, we'll be completed with the raw scope of work and the demolition and ready for construction to commence. The next graphic shows the current overview of the schedule for finalizing Turner's leaseback agreement. I have some very good news to report to the board, which is on the 16th of June, last Monday, we received final approval from the Division of the State Architect for the construction documents. And for those of you who understand DSA, that is a major milestone. That is the primary state agency, Division of State Architect, which oversees school construction. We have stamped, signed drawings, which have now been issued by them. That is probably the biggest hurdle the project really has, certainly from a design standpoint. So by the end of July, with DTSC approval, our two largest regulatory hurdles, DTSC approval of the soil remediation and DSA approval of the construction documents, will be complete. That really leaves us a pretty clean slate from a scheduling standpoint and a regulatory authority standpoint for construction. So those drawings were now reissued by Turner to their subcontractors, and they've narrowed the list of their subcontractors down to create the most competitive environment possible. They've requested revised or updated bid numbers back by July 2nd, with the intent of finalizing those numbers the week of July 7th. We anticipate there will be some cost increases and some cost decreases. We have more detail in the drawings, which is good, but also which should create more certainty, but also more things, some things added by DSA. But everyone believes that there won't be much of a cost impact, but we'll just have much more complete drawings that will be priced, which is less risk to the district. We had a very good scope confirmation session with representatives from both the district and the city last Tuesday. That is looking at some scope items which need to be confirmed in order to make sure that we're meeting our project budget. That list has gone to Turner and their subcontractors, also as part of this bid confirmation process. We anticipate another final meeting the week of July 7th with that same group to confirm final scope adjustments so that we, again, are hitting our budget target. Concurrently, starting this week and next, Swinnerton is meeting with Turner to confirm the indirect costs. These indirect costs are their fee, general requirements, and general conditions. It's approximately 20% of the total contract value, so it's a pretty significant chunk of the dollars. And this is where we're going to negotiate those to the lowest reasonable cost. We think there is some room for savings there. So that work is underway, and we hope to finish that by the end of the month. And then the week of July 7th, the milestone schedule will be confirmed. We've received a preliminary schedule from Turner that we actually reviewed in our weekly meeting yesterday, which shows completion of the pool and gym next summer, substantial completion of the high school in October, in the fall, and then final completion of the project in the spring of 16. So the main thing we're working on right now is actually trying to see if we can move up completion of the pool and the gym for use next summer. That had not currently been the schedule, but the schedule for high school completion for fall and project completion for spring is still looking good. The other thing, then finally, once all that information is in mid-July, we'll be finalizing the contract amount. This is obviously critical to make sure that that's on budget. And then we go to board approval the last week in July, which is a special meeting that I believe needs to be scheduled, and then goes to council approval in the first week of August. The board and council approval of the Turner contract will be concurrent with approval of the joint operating agreement by both bodies. Then following that will be notice to proceed with construction, and construction would then commence in early August. So any questions?
So what does an early August start date look like in terms of, our completion timelines next year for the various
we're still,
pieces?
like it notes here, confirming the project milestone schedule is still in progress. And we've just reviewed the draft, and that'll be reviewed by obviously reviewed in the weekly meeting. When we do our scope confirmation with the designated stakeholders from the city and the district, the first week in July, we'll review an updated version of that to confirm that, but those dates aren't confirmed yet. What we do know from that target schedule is summer for pool, gym, fall, high school, spring project completion. But those dates are moving, and we will have an update. Well, when we get those dates more confirmed, we'll report that to the board.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions? So before you go, because, you know, hey, I'm committed to public comment on this particular item from members of the public. Please come on up. You have 3 minutes. On this